I slammed the gavel down on my own life that rainy Tuesday in Seattle, sentencing my family to the oblivion they'd scripted for me since birth. Blood isn't thicker than the ink on a $4 million contract when it's signed in the tears of a girl you raised as your live-in servant. And as the CEO's applause echoed through the boardroom like thunder over Puget Sound, I whispered to the ghosts of my past, "Your turn to scrub the floors of regret." The rain in Seattle never stops. It's like the city itself is weeping for all the secrets buried under its gray skies. I know that better than most. My name's Reagan, and for 28 years, I've been the invisible stitch holding my family's rotten tapestry together. They called it love. But love doesn't make you polish silver at dawn while your siblings sleep off hangovers in silk sheets. It doesn't force you to forge signatures on loan docs to cover dad's gambling debts, then take the fall when the feds come knocking.
No.
What my parents do, that's betrayal wrapped in a Hallmark card. It started innocently enough,
Or so they said.
born the middle child in a sprawling Victorian in Capitol Hill. I was the responsible one.
Mom.
With her peroxide blonde bob and martini breath, declared it when I was 6. Reagan's got the old soul.
Y'all.
She'll keep us grounded. Grounded.
Ha.
More like chained to the basement laundry, folding dad's monogrammed boxers while he schmoozed at Boeing mixers. My older brother, Trent, was the golden boy, varsity quarterback turned tech bro, dropping out of UW to chase dreams that somehow always involved dad's credit cards. Little sister Lila, the artist, flitting through community college on my scraped-together savings, painting abstracts that sold for peanuts but got her Instagram likes. I was the maid, the accountant, the scapegoat. By 16, I was balancing the household books in secret, hiding mom's pill prescriptions from the neighbors. Family first. Reagan. Dad would slur over his third scotch, clapping me on the back like I was one of the guys. Family first meant me dropping out of high school senior year to work doubles at the Pike Place diner, funneling tips into the black hole of his poker nights. And when the IRS audit hit like a freight train, turns out Dad had been cooking the books for his consulting side hustle, siphoning kickbacks from shady contractors. I was the one who confessed.
Yeah. You heard that right.
16-year-old me, in a starch blouse that itched like guilt, sat across from a stone-faced agent in a fluorescent-lit office and signed the plea deal. Embezzlement. Juvenile record sealed. But the stain?
Permanent.
It'll build character, Mom cooed, dabbing her eyes with a lace hanky as the judge banged the gavel.
Character.
What it built was a life sentence to their shadows. They never thanked me. Trent got a slap on the wrist, community service he charmed his way out of with a fake sprained ankle. Lila? She wrote a poem about familial sacrifice for her lit mag. Got an A.
Me?
I got a one-way bus ticket to community college night classes, majoring in accounting, because that's what fixers do. Fixers. That's what they called me when the lights were on. When they were off, I was the help. Fast forward a decade. I'd clawed my way up from data entry drone at a mid-tier firm to senior analyst at Apex Dynamics, a cybersecurity startup in the shadow of the Space Needle. Long hours. Longer nights debugging code that could make or break a client's empire. My apartment? A shoebox in Belltown. Rent paid in ramen and resolve. Dates? Non-existent. Who wants a woman whose idea of foreplay is reconciling ledgers? But I was good, damn good. Patterns emerged in the noise like ghosts in the fog. I spotted vulnerabilities before they bled out, saved Apex from a ransomware hit that would have tanked us. That's when Victor Hale entered the picture. CEO of Hale Tech, A behemoth in AI-driven finance, worth north of $1 billion on a bad day. He was the kind of man who made boardrooms sweat 6'4", salt and pepper beard, eyes like laser sights. We'd crossed paths at a tech summit in Vegas. I was presenting on predictive fraud algorithms. He was keynote ING on the future of wealth. Our eyes locked during Q&A when some suit questioned my data. Mississippi. Reagan Cole. Reagan Cole just schooled you on Bayes' theorem without breaking a sweat. Listen to her. The room chuckled, but his gaze lingered. Like he saw the fixer under the pantsuit. A week later, an email. Coffee? Victor. I nearly deleted it. Spam from Silver Foxes was my norm, but curiosity's a bitch. We met at a hole-in-the-wall in Pioneer Square. Him in jeans that cost more than my rent. Me in my interview armor. Your model's elegant. Reagan. Brutal. But elegant. Like a scalpel. Flattery from a mogul? I waited for the ask. It came. Hailtech needed a lead consultant for a merger audit. 6 figures. Remote mostly, but with travel to their HQ in San Francisco. Why me? I asked, stirring my black coffee. He leaned in, voice low. Because you see the cracks others paper over. And in my world, cracks sink ships. I took the gig.
God.
What a rush. Flying first class for the first time. Sipping wine that didn't taste like vinegar. My cubicle became a corner office temp setup. Interns fetching my lattes. Trent texted once. Heard you're slumming it with the big boys. Don't forget us little people. Little people. The irony burned hotter than jet fuel. But the real hook sank in during week 3. Victor pulled me into his office after hours, floor-to-ceiling glass overlooking the bay. City lights winking like conspirators. Reagan. This merger? It's not just numbers. It's war. He slid a dossier across the desk. Blueprints for a new AI trading platform. Codenamed Phoenix. Our partner's dirty. Offshore shells. Insider trades. I need you to bury them without a trace.
Bury.
The word hung heavy, echoing my family's sins. And if I say no? His smile was a blade. Then Phoenix rises without you. But I'd rather have the fixer who forged her own fire. I said yes. What choice did a girl raised on lies have? Nights blurred into code marathons, tracing digital breadcrumbs from Cayman accounts to Shell Core in Delaware. Patterns emerged. The partner firm, Vanguard Edge, was laundering for a cartel-light operation, crypto washes for gray market arms dealers. Not my circus. But Victor's directive was clear. Expose just enough to tank the merger. Absorb the assets clean. Collateral damage is the cost of empire, he said over steak at Gary Danko. Empire. I'd spent my life building someone else's. Time to claim my throne. Back in Seattle, the family fracture widened. Mom called. Voice syrupy. Reagan. Honey. We're in a bind. Trent's startup tanked. Bad investments.
Could you
spot us $50K? For old times? Old times. Like the time I pawned Grandma's brooch to pay their electric?
No. Mom. Get a job. Click.
The silence was sweeter than vindication. But secrets don't stay buried in the Pacific Northwest. Lila showed up at my door 2 weeks later, rain-soaked and mascara-streaked, clutching a manila envelope. Reagan, you gotta help. It's Dad. Inside, court summons. The old embezzlement? It was unraveling. Feds had new leads, witnesses from Dad's poker circle flipping for leniency. And there, in fine print, my name. The juvenile plea? Unsealed in a cold case review. They think you were the mastermind, Lila whispered, eyes wide. Mastermind.
Me?
The maid. I laughed, a hollow bark that echoed off my bare walls. Let them. I've got bigger fish. But inside, the fixer cracked. Victor's project was peaking. Phoenix launch in a month. One slip, and my empire crumbled before it rose. That night, I dreamed of gavels and gallows. Waking to Trent's voicemail, "Sis, this is bad. Dad's talking plea, naming you co-conspirator. We need to talk strategy." Strategy. Their word for sacrifice. I deleted it, poured bourbon, Victor's gift, and stared at the contract glowing on my screen for $1 million. Performance bonus if Phoenix flew. $4 million. Enough to buy silence. Or swords. The hook was set. Revenge wasn't a plan, it was oxygen. And as thunder rolled over the sound, I whispered to the storm, "Your move. Family." Victor's world was a vertigo of velvet ropes and veiled threats. The kind of high-stakes poker where the pot was patents and the bluff was bankruptcy.
I dove in head first?
My laptop a lifeline amid the sharks. Hailtech's campus in the Mission District buzzed like a hive on steroids, coders in hoodies slamming energy drinks. Execs in Zegna suits barking into AirPods. I was the ghost in the machine, auditing ledgers that spanned continents, each keystroke a step closer to the abyss. "Reagan, you're a wizard," Victor growled one afternoon, tossing me a thumb drive in the war room. "This is the kill shot. Files on Vanguard's CEO.
Marcus Ale, Nori Lastion."
Thank God, a weasel-faced prick who'd risen from Wall Street gutters to penthouse pads. Photos. Him yachting in Monaco with suits that screamed syndicate. Emails. Coded lingo for shipments that weren't widgets. I cross-referenced with dark web scrapes. Yeah, Victor had back channels and bingo. Arms components. Funneled through crypto to non-state actors in Eastern Europe. Controversial? Hell, it was radioactive. Expose it. And Marcus cratered. Hailtech absorbed Vanguard's IP for pennies. But ethics? That's the luxury of the innocent. I'd borne my family's sins. What was one more grave? Timeline? I asked. Fingers flying. 2 weeks. Then we torch it. His hand on my shoulder lingered, a spark in the sterile air. Victor was twice my age. Married once, divorced messily. But power's an aphrodisiac. Late nights turned to takeout in his office. Bourbon chasers loosening tongues. "You remind me of me, Reagan." Scraped knees. Big dreams. Scraped knees. Try scraped soul. Meanwhile, back home, the wolves circled. Trent cornered me at a forced family dinner. Mom's idea. Neutral ground at the old Victorian. Now half-bored like a haunted prop. "Reagan. Listen," he hissed over pot roast. Lila fidgeting with her fork. Dad sulked in his lazy boy. Oxygen tank hissing like accusations. "The feds want blood. Yours or his." We spin it. Say you were coerced.
Coerced.
By the parents who'd pimped my childhood for their vices. I set down my wine glass. The clink a gunshot. Spin? Like you spun that startup into a Ponzi?
No. Trent.
I'm done spinning. Mom's eyes welled, crocodile tears. Perfected over decades. But Reagan? Blood. Blood. I laughed. Sharp as shattered crystal. You spilled mine dry. I laid it out. The forged docs, the diner shifts, the plea deal that derailed my scholarships. Dad's face purpled. Ungrateful. We gave you a roof over servitude. Lila whimpered. Can't we just forgive?
Forgive. The word tasted like ash.
I left with the envelope, summons burning a hole in my purse. On the drive to Seattle-Tacoma, Victor called. Phoenix test run tomorrow. Fly down. Your code's the heart. My code. Heart of the beast. San Francisco swallowed me in fog and frenzy. The test, a simulated trade war.
iBots dueling in Silicon Coliseums.
Mine predicted the feints, countered with surgical precision. Holy shit, murmured the CTO. A whiz kid named Jax with tattoos peeking from cuffs. Victor beamed, arm around my waist for the photo op. Team's got a new MVP. MVP. Most valuable pawn? That night. Room service and regret. I scrolled family group chat, Trent raging. She's cutting us off? After everything? Everything. Like the everything of me wiring my first Apex paycheck to bail him out of DUI. Lila, maybe we deserved it. Mom. Prayer circle. Girls.
Prayer.
I'd prayed once. On my knees scrubbing grout, begging for escape. Twist came via encrypted email from an unknown. Cole, your folks aren't the only ghosts. Check attachment. PDF, my juvenile file. Unsealed. With annotations. Red flags on Hailtech, Victor's old firm. Prairie brand. Tangled in the same embezzlement web as Dad's. Coincidence? Or conspiracy? I dug. Caffeine-fueled. Cross-referencing SEC filings. Buried deep, Victor's mentor, a fixer like me, took a plea for him in the 90s.
Pattern.
Power protects its own. Confrontation brewed. Next morning. Pre-launch briefing. I cornered him in the exec washroom. Marble and mirrors. Reeking of privilege. Your past mirrors mine. You knew about my record when you hired me? His reflection flickered. Unreadable. Background checks are thorough. Reagan. But talent trumps trivia. Trivia. My sacrificed youth. And if the feds connect dots? Phoenix falls. He turned, close enough to smell his cologne, sandalwood and sin. Then we burn brighter. Partners? Partners. The word dangled, bait on a hook. I nodded, but inside, the fixer plotted. Revenge wasn't just familial, it was fractal. That afternoon, as Phoenix went live, trades zipping like lightning, Vanguard skeletons auto-flagged for regulators, I leaked a redacted snippet to a journalist contact from Apex days. Untraceable. Marcus Hale's empire teetered, Victor's rose on the rubble. Back in Seattle. Fallout hit like a squall. Dad's arraignment. I didn't show. Instead, I wired $10,000 to his lawyer, poison pill. With a note. Fix your own messes. Trent called. Voice venom. You bitch. This is war.
Va.
Music to my ears. But Victor? He summoned me to SF for celebration. Private jet. Bottle of 82 Bordeaux waiting. To empires, he toasted. Eyes gleaming. Empire. Ours? Or his? As the city lights blurred below, I sipped, scheming. The contract loomed, $4M, signed in bloodless ink. But ink washes, grudges don't. And in the quiet hum of assent, I realized Betrayal's a boomerang. Mine was coming home. The boardroom at Hailtech's Seattle satellite office was a coliseum of glass and graft, walls etched with binary code that mocked my unraveling code of honor. I'd flown up for the merger post-mortem. Vanguard imploded overnight. Marcus Hale frog-marched by suits in Navy. Headline screaming, AI empire eats its own. Victor spin, heroic purge. My leak? Buried under NDAs thicker than fog. But the air crackled with unspoken accusations. Execs side-eyeing me like I was the Trojan horse. Reagan Cole, Victor boomed, striding in like a lion to the kill. The architect of Armageddon. Applause rippled, polite, predatory. Jax fist bumped me. A VP in pearls nodded coolly. I stood at the podium. Projector humming behind me. Slides of sanitized data. Phoenix's Phoenix Rise metrics. $4 million contract. Ladies and gents. Emma's. Cole's foresight just saved us billions in liabilities. The room erupted, real cheers this time. Champagne flutes materializing like magic. Shocked whispers. Who is she? From nowhere? Nowhere. Try the basement of betrayal. I scan the crowd. Heart pounding a war drum. There, in the back row, Trent, in a ill-fitting blazer. Face thunderous.
How?
Mom's doing. No doubt, networking her way into an invite via some alumni connection. He mouthed, traitor, but I smiled, laser sharp, and launched into my clothes. In cybersecurity, trust is the ultimate vulnerability.
Today,
We fortified ours. Trust. The word landed like a grenade. Post-meeting mingle. Victor cornered me by the charcuterie. Breath warm on my ear. You leaked it,
didn't you?
the snippet.
Direct. No bluff.
I met his gaze. Unflinching. Needed insurance. Your past. Our present. He chuckled. Low and lethal. Smart girl. But insurance cuts both ways. His hand brushed mine, possession or threat, before I could parse. Trent materialized, reeking of cheap cologne and cheaper rage. Reagan, he snarled, voice slicing the chatter. Heads turned. Care to explain why Dad's rotting in county while you play Queen Bee? The room froze. Flutes mid-sip. Victor's brow arched. Jax edged closer. Phone subtly out. I could lie. Smooth it over, fixer mode. But the applause still echoed. $4 million a shield. Trent, I said, voice steady as steel. Dad's mess is his mirror. I carried it long enough. He lunged verbal. Not physical, spilling the family tea. The plea. The servitude. My ingratitude. Gasps rippled. A board member murmured. HR issue. Victor stepped in. Arm barriering. Family drama.
Folks.
Reagan's our star, let's toast her again. But Trent wasn't done. Star? She's a felon. Check her record. Felon. The word detonated, shattering the spell. Whispers swelled. What? Embezzlement. I felt the tide turn. Sides forming, loyalists to Victor clustering, skeptics peeling off. Jax. Dude. Chill. VP pearls. Purse lips. In that split-second chaos, I saw the controversy bloom. Was I the victim rising? Or the villain veiled? Trent's eyes blazed triumph, mine.
Ice.
Security escorted him out, bellowing threats, but damage done. Victor pulled me aside. Private lounge, overlooking the sound. Rain lashing windows like judgment. Talk. I did. All of it. The betrayal blueprint. Parents' pyramid of lies. My scapegoat scars. He listened, bourbon in hand, face unreadable. And me? Am I just another mark? His question hung.
Raw.
I shrugged. You're the mirror I broke to see straight. He set down the glass. Vulnerability cracking his armor. I was you, Reagan. 90s crash. Mentor took the fall for my shortcuts. Built hail tech on that ghost. Confession. Shared sin. Partners? Then. For real. His kiss was sudden. Fierce, taste of bourbon and absolution.
Partners.
In crime or redemption. But family doesn't fade. Lila texted mid-kiss. Dad's suicide watch. Your leak? It pushed him.
Suicide.
The word gutted me. Victor pulled back. Reading my fracture.
Go.
Handle it. Phoenix holds. I flew to the detention center. Rain-slick roads mirroring my blur. Dad in orange. Gaunt behind, plexi. Eyes hollow. Reagan. Why?
Why?
As if his fists on Mom's bottles. His bets on our bones weren't why. I carried your cross.
Dad.
Time you bore it. His sob echoed real. Ragged. Forgive. Forgive. The chain I dragged. I nodded. Once. Then walked. Not absolution, amputation. Back at Hail Tech. The schism deepened. Boar divided. Half hailed my gutsy play on Vanguard. Crediting the leak. Half decried the unvetted hire. Digging my record. Jax rallied the young guns. She's badass earned it. VP Pearls led the old guard. Liability. Victor flip-flopped masterful. Publicly defending. Privately probing. Contain the family bleed. Or we renegotiate. Renegotiate. The $4 million dangled.
Poisoned.
Climax brewed in a shadow meeting. Trent. Out on bail. Cornered me in the parking garage. Rain pooling like bloodless wounds. You think you're free? I hacked your Apex files, sent to the board.
Hat.
My brother's tech bro skills. Turn dagger. Attachments, my code. Annotated with stolen IP flags, lies. But convincing. Dad taught me well, he sneered. Sacrifice. I palm my phone. Live streaming to Victor's private line. Then learn this. Sacrifice ends. Security swarmed. Trent cuffed again.
Howling.
But the seed sown. Board emails pinged. Audit MS. Cole's work. Sides locked. My allies versus. The Empire's inertia. Controversy crested. Hero or hustler. No clean lines. Victor called as I drove home. Voice velvet over venom. Trent's gift? We'll spin it. But choose. Us. Or them. Choose. The Fixer's fork.
It shows fire.
The inferno ignited at dawn. Seattle's skyline a silhouette against the blaze I orchestrated from my Belltown perch. Code I'd buried in Phoenix, a sleeper algorithm. My insurance, activated with a single command. It didn't crash the system, it confessed. Streams of data flooded secure channels, Victor's 90s ghosts. Cross-linked to Dad's schemes via shared Cayman drops. Not all enough to wound. Not kill. Partners share scars, I murmured to the screen. Hitting send. By noon. Hailtech's stock dipped 8%. Analysts buzzing on CNBC. Insider purge or internal sabotage. Victor's text barraged. What the fuck? Reagan? Then calls voicemail fury. Meet me.
Now.
I did. On my terms, neutral ground. A waterfront diner where busboys didn't sign NDAs. He stormed in, trench coat flapping like capes of kings dethroned, face a mask of betrayal. You burned us. Why? I slid the contract across, $4M, and signed. Because empires built on bones crumble. Yours.
Meaning?
Families. His eyes narrowed. Schemer surfacing. Twist. I knew about your dad. Hired you to draw him out, leverage for a side deal.
Knew.
The hook twisted deeper. Victor, mired in old debts, had dangled me as bait to flush Dad's old contacts, kickbacks for Phoenix's underbelly. You were perfect. Damaged goods. Hungry. Damaged. The word ignited the last fuse. I laughed.
Cold as the sound.
Then eat your bait.
Outside.
Paparazzi swarmed. My anonymous tip. Timed to the leak. Flashbulbs popped. Victor bolted, leaving the contract. By evening, headlines screamed, Hail Tech heiress or hustler. CEO's secret hire rocks Silicon Valley. Heiress?
No, Revenge.
Board ousted him provisional. Jax texted, Your legend. Or liability. Sides.
Sides.
The reader's dilemma. Was Victor's flip Machiavellian genius or monstrous manipulation? My revenge, righteous reckoning or reckless ruin? Family fracture finale. Mom at my door. Lila trailing. Faces gaunt as ghosts. Reagan. The news. Dad's plea collapsed. They're coming for all of us.
All.
The web-eyed snip now strangled. Trent. From lockup, you win. But blood's on you.
Blood.
Metaphor, but heavy. I let them in last supper of sorts. Over takeout foe. Truths tumbled, mom's pills, dad's demons, siblings' complicity. We thought we protected you, she whispered. Protected. By proxying pain. Lila, I envied your strength.
Strength.
Forged in their forge. Twist dropped like the rain. My phone buzzed. Victor. Not rage.
But raw.
You're right. I was the maid too, cleaning others' messes.
Meat.
Real talk.
Real.
No games. I went to his waterfront penthouse. City a carpet of lights below. No lawyers. No ledgers, just two fixers. Fractured. The $4 million? Yours.
Clean.
Walk. Or build. Build. With him, the controversy crested. Ally or abuser reformed. I chose neither. Took the ink. Walked into dawn. Epilogue. Hail Tech stabilized under Jax. Me consulting freelance. $4M seed for my firm. Coal cipher. Family? Scattered. Dad plea bargained light. Mom rehab. Siblings silent. Victor? Vanished to consult abroad. Last email. Revenge is a poor master. Freedom's the prize. Freedom. Tasted like rain-washed streets. But as I stood on the ferry to Bainbridge, wind whipping doubts, I wondered, did I free us? Or just flip the chains? Hero? Villain? The debate rages in mirrors. In boardrooms. In bloodlines unbroken. That's America, land of second chances. Or second stabs. You decide. In the end, the gavel's mine. And it rings true.